That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, that a lot of people are going to be doing their Christmas holiday items of interest, and that's perfectly fine, because if the old Tube Radio network jumping into the radio room fits into that, that is certainly an okay, good thing. The old Tube Radio network testing and on the air. Looks like the video live stream is up. I see the glowing 6L6 in the audio department, and we will make some adjustments as we go along for video and audio and all those good things. And with that said, I think we can start off with the Jingle Singers and all manner of good things here on OTR. Well, that kind of worked. I think someone is playing with the wires. The punch bowl is probably still spiked in the green room, but nonetheless, we will commence to begin. The old Tube Radio Network, your real radios glowing in the dark, the classic tube-type Citizen Band 11-meter radios produced from 1958 when the FCC banged the gavel and said, yes, there will be a Class D radio service, until about 1978 when the FCC didn't care anymore and the manufacturers said, what the heck, we're going to go all solid state. But in that 20-year period, there were some great radios produced, and hopefully we will be chatting with some of those tonight here on the old Tube Radio Network. In the meantime, we'd like to talk with and say hello to our listeners, our shortwave listeners, whether they are here in Central California on 27085 Channel 11, or perhaps out listening on the Universal Media NetWeb somewhere, and for maybe talking on their old tube radios as well. Here on the 21st of December 2019. In our, I guess, coming up to, what, 35 years, 36 years? I always lose count. We have been doing this for a long time. We have a good time doing it, and we appreciate our tube radio operators and collectors that stop by and share their radios with us tonight. So getting started without further ado, or maybe some don't. Let's look for SWL 00.
00 checking in.
And 00 is checking in. Make sure I've got the right page here. 5th week of our 8-week roster. Sounding good, Wayne. We will get you on the replay coming up on page 4. Thanks for getting us started off.
All right, how many more weeks do I have?
This is 5, so we've got 1, 2, 3, the 28th, the 4th, and the 11th.
All right, thank you.
Checking in SWL number 1 on the Cosmic Check-In. Probably has everything decorated. SWL 2. And that's Mr. OBP, usually hanging out over on the video page. Where, who's out there? Warren from Music City. 785 Larry is definitely giving us some holiday cheer. Thanks, Larry, for the items of interest. And a good early morning to the Sheriff of Nottingham, Wayne, out there in the UK, saying Happy New Year. Friar Tuck, thank you. Looking good on, thanks for getting up early with us tonight. Delta X-Ray, Ray is also listening in from some vantage point. We'll see if we hear him live and direct on the air. SWL3 also checking in. I saw Rob at the bowling alley where both of us were struggling a little bit on Thursday night. He did okay. I had the first two games I did well, and I should have left, but I didn't. SWL4. SWL5, I will check in Ida, Mama Rose, who says hello to everyone. SWL6. Shortwave listener number 7.
SWL7 checking in.
Hello, Ed. You sound good. Things still kind of seem to be working here. We'll see what happens in 2 hours.
Good luck.
Yeah, okay. We will see. There's probably something not working or smoking that I don't know about around here. Next, we go all the way up to SWL13. And Mike often checks in at oldtuberadio.net, which is a good way to do it. If you can't get to us at 27085, give us a holler over at oldtuberadio.net. Whether you're tube radioed or not, we'd like to hear from you if you're watching or listening. Over to SWL14. Out of the big town of Easton, SWL15. SWL16. Shortwave listener 17. SWL 18. SWL 19. SWL 20.
Hey, can you hear this squeaky?
Yeah, it sounds good. Let me go to what I should have the S meter up there, so if anybody's watching, they can give that. You can get your own signal report. Come in again. It sounds good.
Well, how about now? Is this a little better?
That is even better on the S meter. Over.
I'll tell you later what I did. Okay. I'll back out. Get back to you after a while.
No doubt you switched to giant-sized coax. You are sounding good, and we will talk more as the radios start glowing in the dark. Thanks, Harvey. Over to SWL21, who is, or was, in the house, Mr. JT, who is a bit under the weather. The world's longest documented ground rod out there in the Wasama swamps, beating from South Carolina. Christmas decorating for his Radio Shack is in progress, and he will be in and out listening. So we've got you checked in if you're listening to the replay or how much delay you've got. But anyway, JT, keep drinking that, keep doing the chicken soup thing, and you will feel better. And we will look forward to the old radio night. JT is the host of that. Next week, we hope. Thanks for 21. Over to SWL 22. That's Mark out in Texas. I didn't even see who is listening tonight. A host of characters from all over the place, starting in the front row. Hello to the California stations for South Carolina, down in Central California, Tulare, Centerville, Virginia, North Fork. We'll be coming up to you soon. Hendersonville, Tennessee, up in the expensive seats tonight. You must have got the complimentary ticket. We don't mind where you sit as long as you're on board tonight. Woodland Park, up there in Colorado, tuning in on his 11-meter radio, seeing if we can get some E-skip tonight. Hello to San Francisco. Anoka, MN. Minnesota is in tonight. What is the temperature? I wonder if that will tell me in or near Anoka. I'm probably saying that wrong. Clear and 36. That isn't too bad. I thought it might have been cooler than that. Hello to Washington, up in Coarse Gold here in California. Hello to Kentucky, Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. There's our UK station in. Toll House is not too far away. In Maryland, Boonesboro. What's the temperature out there? And then Canby, Oregon. I think we might have heard on the E-skip. In Maryland, it's 23 and clear at 11 minutes after 11 o'clock. Like quick facts. Boonesboro is a town in Washington County, Maryland, United States, located at the foot of the South Mountain. It nearly borders Frederick County and is proximate to the Antietam National Battlefield. So very good. Thanks for listening in. I stopped off at 22. Let's try SWL 23. SWL 24. Shortwave listener 25.
Hello, Dennis. 25. Checking in.
All right, hang in the Christmas stockings. No doubt you are sounding good here into Midtown Fresno.
Thank you, Dennis. You're sounding good, too. So, anyway, we'll maybe chat with you after a bit.
Sounds good. We will be talking to the classic tube radios after the roll call here in about 15 minutes. So stay tuned for that. Or if your number's already been checked and you're watching the video in past tense, hit the scroll bar. Look for those radios popping up on your video screen, and we will be on the air with that. Over to page 2. See if Dwayne is on the 11-meter side. If anybody's listening to the 2-meter side, he might be there as well. SWL 27. I've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29. And it looks like we skip over to SWL 31. Robert and Teresa listening in tonight. Hopefully staying warm in the Radio Shack with the tube radios in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Thanks for tuning in. Our longtime SWL listeners there. SWL 32. SWL 33. That's myself, Bozo Control. Can we get the honking proboscis? Yes, indeed. The Jingle Singers are having a good time. There is plenty of Christmas goodies. I have, so I can get in the gate. I've got my holiday fare, my holiday dress tonight, so I can sneak in there and at least make the dress code before things get too wild. Next, we are looking for Mr. Bill, SWL 35. Let me scroll down and see if he is on beaconing in yet. Not yet, it appears. Let me refresh the screen. Make sure I haven't missed anyone. I missed a lot of people. It just goes to show you. I'll get back to you.
You could probably proxy him in and 58. They're having dinner together there in Wyoming. The families having a dinner in Wyoming.
That sounds great, and that's what they should be doing. So we'll do that. Maybe they'll sneak in on the Universal Media Netweb shortly. Sounds like they're having a good time. All right, we'll get 58 and 35 is checked in. Over to SWL 36. And I know Chris was in the Radio Shack earlier, SWL 37.
Pretty good. That's right. 37 here. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening. Sounding good tonight, and we have got you checked in.
Thank you.
Hey, Dennis?
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
In case I don't get back here, check all those other numbers in that I always check in, okay?
Okay, I will do that. And you promised to come back, so you have to. But we will get everybody checked in. The radio's going, and it's Charlie who's out there in Anoka. And of course, see, I forgot what I said. Tuning into the old Tube Radio Network. And hopefully you may have some glow-in-the-dark radios of your own, whether it's an old Helicopters HT37 that's 85 pounds and works 10 meters, or perhaps a Johnson Whiteface with the Crystalon 27085 that may or may not be functioning. Thanks for tuning in our little on-the-air get-together, which started with a bunch of us just tuning down from channel up to on to channel 11 with our old tube radios and chatting, and it's over the past 35 years has grown a bit. We are excited and welcome our stations and people that listen in, not in our signal area, but we enjoy the fact that you guys might be doing something like we do here where you are at. The roll call is going on, looking for SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40, checking in from a snowy Chinatown. Yes, it's snowing in Chinatown right now as I speak.
You are right now in search of a carrot for that nose you're going to put on the snowman down there on G Street. And it sounds like it is very festive over in the SWL 40 Radio Shack tonight. Thanks for checking in.
Yes, it is. It is very, very festive here in Chinatown.
Jingling the bells and whatever else they might be jingling down there in Chinatown tonight. Thanks, Larry. We will look for more reports as the evening wears on. Over to SWL 41. SWL 42. Shortwave listener 43. SWL 44. We'll see if we get an audible version of the 44 tonight, because I know he is out there listening.
44.
All right, sounding good here in the low antenna land of Midtown Fresno. One, two, three, four, five. I don't know. I might be able to jump the audio up just a little bit on the 11-meter side. 1, 2. All my meters are behind me. The ergonomically incorrect Radio Shack here. See what's happening. Thanks, Ray. Got you checked in. Over to SWL 45.
Sounding good tonight, Dennis, as always. 45.
And likewise, we got a clear, cold night. I think they're calling for some rain coming up shortly. But so far, so good.
Yeah, they're to come. I'm ready for it. It'd be nice to have it again. Maybe I'll knock down some of this noise level.
Yeah, my noise level actually went down at the start of the program tonight. It was higher than it was, so I'm able to open the RF gain, and we will be listening for radios. SWL 46, SWL 47, shortwave listener 48, and the 49er, SWL 49.
Hey, 49er here, checking in and wishing all you guys a very Merry Christmas.
And the weather outside is frightful. Actually, it's not. It's been quite nice. You are doing a good job here in the Midtown, as always. Thank you, sir. SWL 50.
And he would be here.
He would be here, there, and everywhere. Hi, Mark. I've got you checked in. Over. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
Sounding super good as always tonight. Dave out there somewhere near Sangertown. Thank you. Reminds me, I've told you this, the Kenny Hall song. I should have that in the background when you check in. Kenny Hall singing the North Sanger Blues. SWL 52. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53 checking in.
Right at the radio controls, as always. Here we at the bottom, page 2. Thank you, Bob. If you're playing the home game, we will be on page 3. Let me refresh the comments. See what's happening in the world of audio and video. Seeing if anybody new has checked in. And the Bob and Steve show with the Jingle Singers in the green room. And they're wishing everyone who makes the Old Tube Radio happen, which is all of you, right? A Merry Christmas and a great New Year. What is our New Year show? That's the 28th. And then I might be talking to Rich, who runs the what is it? These Facebook page called CB Radio News, and maybe we can at the beginning of the new year work out some type of a link up over on the Facebook, the CB Radio News page. We'll talk to Rich about that. Could be interesting. Page 4. Where are we at? Page 4 and SWL 54. Mr. Boardjammer, who is beaconing down and waving a hand to everybody. How about SWL 55?
Sorry, checking in.
Up there in crisp, clear, and chilly Shaver Lake, where with the weather changes, I'm sure you guys might be getting some snow up there in the next couple of days.
Yeah, perhaps.
Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Kicks? Kicks are for, no, that's tricks. Tricks are for, no, I don't know. I'm all confused. I'm all confused with my old cereal commercials. Thank you, Phil. And Bob and Steve, I hope you got the note about the attire, the dress tonight for the green room. We were trying to put it up a notch for the holidays. So if not, I think we have some jackets at the door you can put on. But you guys are always pretty spiffed up anyway, so I don't think there'll be any problem. 56 is in. Let's try, and I'll check over on the video side, see if Brown Dog Audio is listening in tonight. Don't see him in there yet. SWL 58 visiting Cheyenne, I can say that, Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight with Mr. Bill and the family. For listening in, Jeremy, we got you checked in. Merry Christmas to you. Over to SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you much, Dennis. And before we get this one checked in there, I want to wish that Bel Air, or Robert out there, number 53, a Merry Christmas and to all. And for the last time this year, Dennis, let's get this DX2527 in for Mr. Jake.
The X is in the square. That is the radio that's emblazoned under the number 60 logo. It says the DX2527 radio is made number 60 what it is. And you are keeping it going, Joe, and we appreciate that. Thanks. SWL 61.
61, checking in, Dennis.
SWL 61, Copenhagen Kid. Thank you, Dean. We've got you checked in.
Thanks, sir.
Out to beautiful downtown Clovis, SWL 62.
Evening time, Dennis. This is 62, checking in from downtown Clovis. Merry Christmas to you and we're coming up. We'll talk to you next week.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. I can see the lights beaconing off of Pulaski Avenue. It's all decorated up. Coming through the window of the Radio Shack there. Lucky Lindy. Long time listener on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Rex. Over to SWL 63. And that is representative of our New York station. You know, I didn't see one New York station in tonight. Is it a dark and stormy night out that way? Perhaps they're celebrating early. We'll keep an eye out for our New York stations. SWL 64. SWL 65. Joining us on the NetWeb, coming up to North Carolina, Kakalakis is in. And British Columbia also listening in. Maybe we'll catch some E-skip up into the Pacific Northwest tonight. SWL 67. I'm going to put a proxy in for Bill, who just may be out there listening in, whether it's live or in the future, the past, present. SWL 68. Glow in the Dark Radio is coming up after the roll call. We'll get a check-in for Ken, SWL 69. Hopefully you're getting your radios and antennas up for the upcoming Cycle 25 skip session. Let's head over up to Morgan Canyon, SWL 70.
Hey, Dennis. 70 checking in. Happy Saturday.
Saturday has been good. I managed to get through this far without wrecking things. I'm just going to stay seated into the air chair here tonight and let all the wild and wacky stuff happen either over in the green room or somewhere else. Thanks for checking in. I will put an X in the square for Dallas, Georgia. Stan, who is waving a hand from behind the golden microphone, probably hoping for some good DX. Boy, I tuned in. I know my antennas are lousy, but I managed to jump into the Radio Shack today, and it was just not good all the way around. I don't hear anybody on 17 meters. The signals on 20 were weak. The signals on 40 were almost non-existent. The one good station coming in with almost 20 over was WWV, so I don't know how that works. It seems like if 10 megahertz was open, something else would happen. Just that's how propagation is. Sometimes you don't need a lot, sometimes you do. Let's try, thanks, got you in, Stan, SWL 72. SWL 73. Shortwave listener 74. And I've got a note to get to Miss Julie Proxy, and she's probably working on the indoor holiday decorations there. So, Miss Julie, you are checked in. SWL 75. SWL 77. SWL 78. It's Richard up in Washington. There was somebody in there in my noise level. If that's a check-in or a hello, try it again, and I might need a relay if anybody can hear the station. This is OTR listening. Yeah, that station right there. I know you're in there, but I did not hear what you said. But hello from the old tube radio network. We were looking for SWL 79. SWL 80. Over to page 4, SWL 81. Checking the video side. Sometimes Unicorn gets on the video chat. Says hello. SWL 82.
82 checking in for the Ditch Banks of Iowa.
Beaconing in most excellent tonight, Ron. Thanks for checking in on the old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 84, who I had a great conversation with on his classic radio Wednesday night after the net. I wonder if it's fired up on 11 meters. But as per request, I will get Jerry and the group checked in. He was working on microphone. He changed, I can't remember which microphone he changed to, but it really sounded good. He was on the 101, the classic FT 101, which is a radio I ran for many years when we did the net long ago. I had my antenna way up in the air, and all I needed was 2 watts. Those radios have great AM audio. Let's try SWL 85. And SWL 86, 87, and 88, Tandy Girl, Snowy Owl, and the Mountain Maid. Not necessarily in that order. Getting checked in tonight. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 92. I'm going to check in for Chuck. I heard him Wednesday night. Not too bad from Madera. SWL 93. And we'll take check-ins anytime while we're on there, and I know a lot of people are out with family doing things. But if you run into the radio room before we were off the air tonight, we will certainly get you checked in. It won't be counted late, that's for sure. Over to SWL 98.
Good in, Dennis. Merry Christmas.
Got you checked in, Fresno Dave. Beaconing in. The 544 is on. Let's see if Jeff has got the mobile radio working. SWL 103. SWL 109. SWL 110. And there is 57. Mr. Brown Dog Audio, WWS 1942 Central Kentucky. I'm putting the X in the square. He's waving a hand over on the video page. Looking good tonight. Brown Dog. Let's try Reedleytown. I did not hear Robert in earlier, so we'll see if he's fired things up. SWL 111. I bet if he was out there, I would definitely hear Reedleytown tonight. SWL 113. The loud station you heard at the beginning of the roll call, 00, is also this guy, SWL 114.
114 checking in.
Checking in again. See, he's had practice. That's why he does it so well. That's the second time. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you for the check-in.
You think after 35 years I would be as good doing this, but I don't know. It takes a lot more practice on my end. Let's try SWL 128. Did I not see Mr. John Lee on frequency earlier? I am looking. Yes, I did. 28 degrees. So it's a bit chilly in Fairfax, Virginia tonight. But then what would you expect on the third week of December? The winter solstice, the longest day. So right after today, days are getting longer. So you can celebrate that. We in fact, I just looked over, and now I'm getting word. I just looked through the rack here over into the green room, and it looks like they are attempting to fire up the Yule log. I hope they have opened the flue in the fireplace. Otherwise, the smoke you see is not going to be from an old tube radio tonight. John Lee is in. Let's go to Clovis for SWL 131. SWL 133. 133 is checking in out of Northwest Fresno. Thank you, Dave. SWL 135. I will give a proxy for 135 if he might make it in. He's usually always up and around for the Christmas program here. That takes us to SWL 137. Then over to Tony, SWL 145.
Thank you, Dennis. This is Tony, 145 in Corsco. And I'd like to say Merry Christmas to all the SWLs out there. And I'll be leaving tomorrow for a couple of weeks, so I won't be on Wednesday night. Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas out there in 73.
All right, 73s, have a great Christmas bash or whatever you do. We will, I'll make a note if I'm there on Wednesday. I think Jerry is listening in too, that you will be out. Maybe we'll get you absentee check-in if that's such a thing. You are sounding perfect here on 11 meters tonight. You got everything fired up and not a miss or a squeak or a rattle. So thanks for checking in.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
Then we go from the hills of Coarse Gold above Fresno to somewhere, the hills above somewhere, but certainly not above Fresno for SWL 147. You'd think he could be in 6 land. He's got a 6 call like I do, but he is out in clear, cold Kakalaki. Yeah, in Minnesota it would be summertime weather, right? Barbecue weather, but it still feels cold. Yeah, it feels cold to me. Unless the sun is up. Sun goes down, it's bad. Traces of propagation, but nothing steady. Boy, you got traces. I got nothing today. He's on a winter break right now, so he's on the radios more than not, which is a good thing. And no doubt you might be busy playing various holiday venues. Thanks for jumping into the radio room tonight. Dr. Jazz in the Caroline Sandhills, SW147, checking in. Thank you. And let's go back to, since it worked so well just moments ago, let's go back to Course Gold for SWL 195. Okay, I got you now. Audio, video, and all the Christmas trimmings that go with it. Merry Christmas, Jim, I got you. And then we'll go up to SWL 226. Anyone who's standing by that I might have missed, or you just came in and would like to check in now on the SWL side, of course, we'll take check-ins as we go along, but anybody would like to come in now. All right, who is that? Who is that? Over. The break OTR, go ahead, please. Is that 650 over? All right, out reading the mail. There's a lot of it. 650. Have a good Christmas up that way. We've got you here in Midtown Fresno tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in. And without any further delays, I'm going to flip a couple of switches. We will set up for the Tube Radio check-ins, change the audio stream for that purpose. The video stream will stay up and running, and we will be back momentarily on your Old Tube Radio Network doing what we do best, and that's talking to your tube radios. All right, I think I've flipped all the magic switches and pulled all the right levers. And if the jingle singers, yes, they are, in front of the ribbon microphonium, we can get started here.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Well, they sound a little rough out there tonight. Having too much fun. I think the punch bowl is spiked once again. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. The classic tube radios, you might have one, a Sonar or a Johnson or a Hallicrafters or a Hammerland or a Heathkit or a Tram, you name it. We've heard it, maybe. We'll find out. OTR listening.
Break OTR from Christmas Tree Lane.
All right, couple of stations. I will get to all of you, but I want to pick up the breaking station that mentioned something about Christmas Tree Lane over.
I
Yes, greetings from SOBO 47. Before I go any further, you got to tell me, how is my audio?
Your audio is excellent. It's super loud. You are truly 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon, but it's amazing that I'm surprised you're not at your base station, because it sounds just like you are.
Well, in a way, I kind of am using some equipment from the base station. I think, I'm reasonably sure this is the first time I can actually check in an old tube radio on Christmas Tree Lane.
Wow. Okay, no wonder your audio sounds so good. I was thinking, that can't possibly be the walkie-talkie. So I think I know which radio that is. With that amount of audio, there is a robin connected somewhere, either on the recumbent bicycle or in the Edsel or whatever vehicle you are traversing down the lane tonight. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, first and foremost, as I said, greetings from Christmas Tree Lane. I'm sure most everyone already knows about it, but Christmas Tree Lane is about a 2-mile stretch in an area kind of central Fresno. It's known as the Fig Garden District. What else can I say about it? I guess this tradition of lighting all these trees started in about 1920, I guess, in honor of a child that passed away. And since then, they lit one tree in 1920, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. I think as of now, there's something like 140 homes involved, and I'm sure it's pretty much everyone, even the folks that chose not to decorate. I think their homes got decorated for them. But they've done it since then. It's started with the one tree. Now it's I think they said about 300 trees lining the street, about 140 homes. And get this, I think it was 2.5 million incandescent light bulbs, LEDs, and I guess now we can say 2.5 million and 11 extra lights coming from this Robin T123.
Most excellent. If anybody is at the .net page or watching the video, here's a still of, I'm close to the entrance of Christmas Tree Lane, as Mike said, about a 2-mile stretch of inner city road here. This is in the city of Fresno, but in an older district that has very stately homes, and as you can see, the large cedar trees. And you look down the picture, this goes for 2 miles. They have the lights up in the trees, and most of the homes along the way, as you can see on the left side there, have very elaborate displays, and they have nights where you can walk down the road. And then Mike has actually taken a lot of time and effort to, on a drive night, put the Robin T123 into the mobile radio, and is out there on Christmas Tree Lane, and it's just super good signal. And hopefully you are not bleeding into any of the Christmas tree displays.
Well, if I actually tried to drive any further on Christmas Tree Lane, I think there would be some bleeding on my part. I don't know if you have ever seen the original Back to the Future, but I kind of feel like that DeLorean at the very end. I'm using my 108-inch steel whip, the one that I actually kind of started participating in the show on. And with that mounted to the roof of a minivan, this antenna is really, really, really tall. And I as much as I like the decorations and checking the radio in on the avenue, I kind of don't want to be driving down Christmas Tree Lane and be known as the guy that, had his antenna hit some lights and, did the 1.21 gigawatt short that basically shut down the whole Christmas Tree Lane. I guess it's the 90, what is it? They started chronologically in 1920, and this is technically it's the 97th year that they've done this. They didn't do it in 41 because of wartime restrictions, and they also took a break. I think it was in 1973 just because of the energy crisis. I don't want to make it be a third instance of a blackout because some bonehead decided to drive with an antenna that was way, way, way too tall.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. Well, we want you to be safe. I know there's a lot of traffic. There's people in front of you and behind you. If you're actually moving down the lane, you may be off to the side, and you have to be careful with not shining headlights in or whatever. But you're in a really good spot for transmitting. I'm showing the radio. If anybody curious what he's doing, there's the radio that is somewhere affixed, I'm assuming inside the vehicle, maybe in one of the seats. But it is a classic tube radio, counts for a check-in and a special check-in for our Christmas net tonight as it is out beaconing from the infamous Christmas tree lane here in Fresno. Good job all the way around. I was actually looking for your MP3 of a couple of years ago, and you made it so I don't need that. We've got the real thing. Over.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is basically the last chance for me to do it this year. But it's great. It's kind of it's cool seeing this the Magic Eye tube on this radio winking and blinking along with all these other decorations. It's pretty cool. For anyone who has not driven it, or if you're from out of town or whatnot, you got to do it. The trees just look spectacular. These really, really tall, I guess, cedar trees are all strung with lights. They look fantastic. And whatever I said, about 140 homes have decorations anywhere from, simple wood cutouts to some pretty elaborate three-dimensional statues. I mean, it's amazing. Where am I right now? I'm about Van Ness and Lansing. And somewhere around here I saw there's like a Bob Ross. I didn't see him tonight, but I know he's floating around somewhere. I don't think he ever painted himself, but everything looks great. And again, the homes, I think everyone did a wonderful job on. For me, the take home, though, is just kind of looking up and seeing these absolutely gorgeous lights in the trees. So, Merry Christmas to everyone. Thanks for letting me check in. Like I said, I think for the first time, vacuum tube You Love Meter radio on Christmas Tree Lane. Folks, it doesn't get any better than this.
I would agree. Our first check-in of the evening, and a good one from Christmas Tree Lane on the Robin T123 Super Audio. I hope you get a chance to either watch the video replay of your transmission or listen to the audio. It sounds every bit as good as your base station does on the 102-inch whip, and you are probably just due west of me by about 2.5 miles or so. So really, really good signal. Really appreciate the extra effort because I know it takes a little doing to wire things in and put the antennas up, and it hasn't missed a beat. It's been a perfect transmission. No squealing, howling, no lids, no kids, no space cadets. Thank you, Mike. We'll go back to you for one more transmission, and then you can pull back out into the traffic and continue on. Let's see, it's 8:50. I guess they're open till, they stay open until about 10 o'clock. And Saturday, the other thing is Saturday is always a busy, busy day. So not only did you have to do what you did, you probably had to wait for 2 hours just to get in there.
Yeah, there's some sneaky ways. If you know the neighborhood, you can kind of get in fairly easily. But I think on that, I'm going to try and clear out of here. For some weird reason, I don't think most of the folks that are driving this evening have really seen an antenna that's as long as the one I'm using right now. I kind of feel like a Kardashian or something. I don't know. I think for the first time in my life, I feel like a legitimate celebrity for using this type of equipment. But anyways, thanks for letting me check it in. Merry Christmas again, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you again for our trip down Christmas Tree Lane. It is open now through usually the first or second day after Christmas, I think, for going down there. Just a great signal. Yes, that 102-inch whip, it is not your grandfather's cell phone anymore. Thanks. All right, thanks everybody for standing by for that unannounced. I did not know he was going to do that. Check-in from Christmas Tree Lane. We did appreciate that. So I will stand by, and we'll be listening for radio check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network.
45.
25.
And 45. Hello, Paul. Step up into the air chair. You will be Radio 2. And 25, lucky you. The green room is open. We will relax the dress code tonight. We were trying to get everybody to dress up a little bit for the holiday items, but I see that it's getting a bit casual there, so we'll wander right in, and we will be right with you for Radio 3. And in the meantime, up to North Fork. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Dennis. I want to send in my General Radio Telephone Super MC12.
You must have been very good at somewhere along the way to have Santa Claus deliver a very rare, but a radio that a lot of people would like to have, the General Radio Telephone Super MC12. I think we have a picture. Yes, we do. And in fact, if I'm correct, it may be the one you're using. It is certainly out of your collection. You've got great audio. Let's hear another transmission out of the General Radio Telephone. Over.
Yeah, okay. No, that's not the one I'm talking on. That is the one that used to belong to Jim, SWL1, the head man, I guess, at that time. Anyway, I got it from him when he passed away, and it blew a transformer up. So I was lucky enough to find this one here at an old friend's place up in San Diego. Well, he passed away also, Bob Mellum. And I got this from him, which I'm proud to be talking on this thing. Anyway, that's a little history. I'm kind of boring. But anyway, back to you.
Sure has great audio. The MC12, their last, I guess their last radio that was, I don't even think it was type accepted. MC11A was, the Super MC11A was type accepted. I'm trying to see our databases and coming up with the information. That's about the time they were sold to, was it Skyhawk, the antenna company, communications? Anyway, it's good. You probably have the radio room all decorated, and when you turn on the radios, not only does it add to the festiveness, but you get that nice tube radio glow. Give us another transmission on Radio 2.
Okay. No, it's not decorated much in here, just with radios, which I'm proud of them. Anyway, the microphone I'm using this thing is a General Radio Telephone CM-3 ceramic microphone. It's made to go with this particular radio. It's made by Turner. You can go to the same number with Turner, and they just don't act the same as the one that comes from General Radio Telephone. Anyway, that's about what little bit of history I got on the thing. And back to you, Dennis.
All right, certainly enjoy that. Very much like the MC11A. General Radio Telephone was sold to the Skyhawk Antenna Company in 1972. And the MC12 has a much larger and powerful final audio tube. Really? Okay, I don't have a tube complement on this. And it was not able to be type accepted by the FCC. Probably still trying to get some Civil Air Patrol things going on in there, and maybe they went a little bit overboard. And the last General Radio Telephone CB manufactured. Although we have somewhere in the archives of, I think, SWL20, there's the MC100. I can't even remember what the number is. It was a prototype, but it certainly probably never saw the light of day in the sell it out there market. Thanks for Radio 2 sounding good. Who is stepping up? Jerry is stepping up for Radio 3. Wanted to make a comment. We've got Warren Brown Dog Audio out there. Oh, you know what? Talking about Motormouth Mall. When we had our last cycle 24 and things were really hopping, John he's on the coast of California, so he's about 120 miles away. When he was doing his thing with the big beam, so this would have been 4 years ago, and this would be on, I think, Channel 28, I would hear him on backscatter. And you know how backscatter is. Sometimes it'll come in, it sounds like you're 20 feet away from the microphone. Sometimes it comes in quite loud. And I would hear Motormouth Mall on Channel 28 talking to the guys on, out in the East Coast. But He's 120 miles away on backscatter. And, of course, he's not going to hear me, but I'm thinking those are the conditions. That's what's coming up, hopefully, with Cycle 25 here in about 3 or 4 years. You point the beam, you're listening off the backside of the beam or something, but very, very unusual conditions, and I definitely don't think we could do ground wave, but something like that on a short skip or a backscatter when your signal's going up and down and all sorts of things. If it gets good enough, he could probably point west, and I'd hear him on the long hop. Probably a delay where you hear yourself coming back to you. Where are we going? We're going over to radio number 3 and Jerry at the microphonium of a yet unnamed radio. Go ahead.
That's Paul, by the way, that general radio telephone sounds wonderful. Loud radio. Anyway, Dennis, real quickly, this is the Holocrafters Citizens Band little phone. 5-channel transmit, A, B, C, D, E, with the VFO and the VS meter, which is bouncing up and down as I'm talking, and the oranges kind of red light on the lower left-hand side is on the air and talking on a non-powered D104 mic. Back to you, Dennis.
Great audio. Can't go wrong with the D104 microphone on just about any tube radio. There's a ham guy that makes a speech processor for those. The guys on 75, he builds a radio. He builds I think it was like a Class D transmitter that needs super compression and limiting on the microphone. So he built an amplifier, a little board that goes into the D104. And I'm almost thinking I would like to get one and test it out on the radios, but it might be a good addition. Can't think of the guy's call. I think it's K7DYY. Anyway, if you get a chance to Google that, it's a little audio board. I think it's about $80. It goes into the bottom, the base on the D104. Although you don't need nothing, all right? It sounds really, really good. If you're making the meters bounce, that's probably a good thing. Back to you on Radio 3.
Okay, Dennis. Yeah, this one, somebody added a bank of tubes on the exterior side of the casing, and I'm sure it's just for receive, because this radio has excellent receive. So that's probably why Paul was booming down here from the mountains, but everyone's sounding great. So anyway, thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
And thanks for bringing it by. We had a question about, the 10-meter net. I do not run, I'm not a, and who was that, Warren? That was Brown Dog Audio. Talking about our 10-meter Wednesday night net. The gentleman whose voice you just heard on the Halocrafter CB3A is one of the net controllers. And the net is at 28,445 upper sideband on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have, if we have any type of 10-meter conditions, it would basically be probably northwest, because it's at 8 p.m. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest, and we have had, as Jerry can attest, when the band opens up, stations checking in that way. And then, of course, we're all hoping that when Cycle 25 starts up here, sooner than later, we hope we'll be able to do some 10-meter AM at 2900, and then that will be open pretty much across the U.S. for that, and that's always fun. Maybe we'll jump up on 29085, and typically we don't go online, but sometimes if I'm out there, I will turn on the audio stream. So yeah, listen in on Wednesday nights at oldtuberadio.net. If I'm out there, I try to put up the audio stream sometimes so people can listen in. Top of the hour here at the Old Tube Radio Network, and typically top of the hour we bring in the orchestra and the big announcer and the big crew, and they are there. Let's see if it's working or not here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
OTR 27.085 megahertz. The Old Tube Radio Network.
And we are listening for radio number 4 on the Old Tube Radio Network. Couple of new check-ins. X4000 beaconing in from kind of northern central California. He actually stopped by the Radio Shack here the other day with the, what was it, the Bofong something Bofong radio. We checked that out. It's working quite nicely. So hello to X4000. Who's our newest stations listening in? Hello to Germantown, Wisconsin. We're at old@tuberadio.net. And, of course, we got Mr. Bill, SWL 35, checked in from Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and we are listening for Radio 4. I know a lot of people are out doing whatever holiday things that they are doing, and if we can get a few check-ins, that would be great. Definitely got a good start off tonight with the, and we don't hear many, Old Tube Radio mobile check-ins from the festive Christmas tree land.
45.
Hello, Paul. You have not gotten tangled up in the tinsel and have found another radio on the Giants radio bench over there. Hello.
Okay, I'm glad I got this one going. I was beginning to wonder there for a while. This is my Browning Raven.
Birds of a Feather. I'm trying to think of the ad that comes with that. Birds of a Feather, something like that, from Browning Laboratories, The Raven. Internet is running slow tonight. I am going to see if we have a picture of that. I know we've got it in an advertisement. The audio sounds good, so give it a transmission. Over.
Yeah, I get part of that. I've still got that terrible noise level up here, so bear with me. But anyway, yeah, this is a real neat little radio. It's got on the air light on the left-hand side of the thing, flashing while I'm talking to the thing. And next to it, it's got a large, you can see it. I think it's got a picture that's on besides that single one. Yeah, you should have another one in there. I can see it's not mine, but it's another one. It's Browning Raven. But anyway, yeah, you can see this is these two that are together on the thing. There, you got it. That's it. You see how big that meter is gigantic. Easy to see. Very well lit, too, on the thing. Same mic as you see it laying on the floor. This one right here. Just a small little microphone. Nothing fancy. Nothing at all. And this is actually a mobile radio. So a gigantic, beautiful mobile radio. Back to you, Dennis.
This came out at the same time. That's why I put on the advertisement first. When the Browning Eagle came out, the R27S23, this was the companion mobile radio. So methinks it's probably a lot of the same component parts discreetly they were crammed into the smaller box there, and they had some real estate room on the faceplate to put in the standard Browning Giant S meter. I see it's got a red light, or I guess that's an on-air light. It looks like they skimped a little bit on the channel selector control, but maybe if you're driving mobile, you really don't don't need to know what channel you're on once you switch it. But if somebody wanted a radio signal report, you could do that. The audio is good. Nice audio from the microphone. And I don't see, I'm looking for a power supply. Did they have a separate power supply for that, or is it just running off of 12 volts power supply somewhere?
Just curious, this thing's got 12 tubes in this thing also for small radios. Not that big. This thing's only 10 and 3/4 inch, 4-inch high, and about 8-inch deep. So it's not that big a radio. Really attractive radio. I tell you, the thing has got, I'll run through it real fast. It's black leather grain vinyl on the thing. And the knobs are black with brushed aluminum inserts in the thing. Real classy mobile radio. Well, I'd be proud if I'd had one of those when I was running radios in there. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Okay, from 1965 is when we're showing. It's called the Raven. Did that? I'm thinking that runs pretty hot. If it's got 12 tubes, does it put out quite a bit of heat?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if you want to know if the color might. I don't believe so, but I'm looking through the notes I have on the thing right now, and usually I always have down. Oh wait, Shure. Here it is. It's a Shure microphone, and it's a ceramic. Back to you.
Okay, thanks for the info on that. And I know I was having a little bit of problem on the copy. I'm going to go to the full-page ad while we're here, and I can take a look at the Eagle and the Raven. So there's the size difference between the transmitter receiver, and they figured out how to pack a lot of the two-piece radio into the one-piece radio. And like Paul said, it's got 12 tubes in there. So that's why I was thinking that maybe it runs a little bit hot. Give wings to your CB communications with the unbeatable Browning team. The Raven, everybody's raving about the new Raven. The transmitter has 100% peak limited plate modulation. Not bad for mobile radio. Optoelectronic automatic compressor. Receiver has good sensitivity. Plus 2 new Vista Cascade front end for your receiver, and all 23-channel crystal control transmit and receive. I don't have a price on that. I think it was $395 for the base station in 1965. So I'm going to say the mobile radio had to be at least in the very high $200 range, or even that. 12 tubes, 19 functions, plus 2 transistors and 9 diodes. The transistors might have been for the DC power. Browning Laboratories, Department A, 1269 Union Avenue, Laconia, New Hampshire, 03246. And that's from April of 1966, just before they went to the Golden Eagle came out, I think, just a year later. If you're hearing me, Paul, give us another transmission. Certainly enjoy radios that are quite rare, and that is one of them, the Browning Raven. Back to you. Over.
Yeah, okay. Well, it says a Raven 23, complete with 23 crystals, sells for $269. If you got a Raven 8 with 1 crystal, it's $219. So I guess you have 1 crystal just for a mobile radio back and forth, all you have to have, which is possible. Yeah, okay. That's all I know about it. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, well, that's a more reasonable price, but it sounds like they're saving some money by not loading the thing up with all the crystals, because that would have been probably $4 to $5 a shot per channel to put the thing in there. But that gives you an option. That wasn't bad. I guess if you wanted a Browning, that would be one way to start. The only thing is there is no ping. People would say that can't possibly be a Browning, right? So you'd have to do the paper clip or the bobby pin onto the D104 like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Thanks for bringing by radio number 4, the very rare Raven from Browning Radio. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
listening for your glow-in-the-dark radios, the Old Tube Radio Network. We are here at 27085. My name is Dennis, your net controller for the evening. In our pre-Christmas net, a lot of people out doing the holiday things, so we appreciate those that have stopped by. If you'd like to ask us a question, take a transmission, or whatever, we are here for another hour or so, waiting to see what can happen. You just never know when you might get a mobile radio checking in from Christmas Tree Lane.
25.
Hello, 25. I think I can give it a transmission.
You got this from the old already. Okay, go ahead and give it a guess.
This could be something from beautiful downtown Burbank.
This radio must still have an issue or something for you to pick up on that. But you're exactly right, Dennis. From beautiful downtown Burbank, California, the General Radio Telephone MC5. Back to you, Dennis.
Sounding okay. The audio is just a little bit weak. I don't think it's fully 100% modulated, but it's making the S meter move in a proper direction. I'm not having to see. I can't get away from that. The people watching the video watch me squeeze the headphones to my head when I'm trying to pull somebody out of the noise, but I'm not doing that with the MC5 tonight. So I think it is working, and I'm sure the Q-Bird would fully 100% modulate that if necessary, but not so. Give us another transmission, over.
Hey, Dennis. It's the MC5. See how many channels I got here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crystals, and but I'm on the VFO right now. But and then talking on the Turner Plus 3B powered microphone. So I haven't checked the battery in this mic for a long time. So maybe I should check voltage on it, and could need a battery if it needs more audio.
Well, believe it or not, the transmission that we just heard, the audio was as I remember it from last week. It came up substantially, so it must have heard us talking.
Well, I kind of tweaked the volume knob. I usually run it about 3.5, and well, that's where it's at now. So I maybe kind of moved it down. So, but anyway, the General Radio Telephone MC5, and it does have the secret tone alert or tone signal alert spring-loaded switch just below the S meter.
The tone signal, as our astute SWLs, I think it's Mitch and Dave talking about that, the Q-Bird, Tweety Bird. They have a very good explanation. I should find that on the Facebook page where they were talking about how that works. And I bet if Harvey is listening, he has seen it before, where they're using was it diodes or the neon lights? They're doing something inside that radio to make the oscillation happen. And Mitch and Dave, I think, had a real good explanation of that, which I may or may not be able to find in time tonight. But while I'm looking, go ahead and give us in the switch. If you look in the video, it's the switch right under the S meter. That's what Jerry will be working with to do whatever it is that he's going to do next. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, Dennis, and I believe it works as I'm talking. So let's give it a shot. So I'm still transmitting on the microphone, and there is the tone signal alert. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Back to me in the studio. Yeah, that is definitely 100% audio when you are beaconing that way, so no problem. And yes, I can hear your audio through that. So the Q-Bird is working well. You must have given it the proper bird seed.
Yeah, well, whatever that is. But anyway, glad that's sort of back on frequency and able to check it in, Dennis. Thank you.
Glad you could bring it by. It is radio. What radio are you? Radio number 5. an appropriate fit for the MC5 general radio telephone tonight. And it is, for some reason, that first transmission was low, but all subsequent transmissions sounding good, or as number 8 used to say, loud and proud. Thanks for bringing it by.
45.
Now, there's a definitive key down. Hello, 45.
Yeah, my dog's going, the thing's going a little noisy. I don't like it quite that noisy. Does it sound pretty dinging over there?
No, I just hear you, over.
Okay, it seems like an awful long warm up there. But I like it, but I can cut it back down to a single. I'd be kind of interested to try that. Anyway, I got my general radio telephone, my Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
The Mark III SSB sounding good. I think your ping is about right. It's got a nice tone to it. I don't know if we have an OTR Olympics. All judges might be giving it a 9 or a 10 in the ping department. The Russian judge perhaps would be giving it a 5 or a 6, but you know how the Russian judges are. I think it's sounding marvelous for Radio 6, over.
Okay, well, the interesting part of this thing is that this microphone gets its power from the radio. This is actually a radio that's made for the Golden Eagle Mark III. I mean, the microphone made for this thing. You can mount other ones to it, but this has a tone that is unbelievably great. I agree with you on that. I like it. That's just a Browning. They're great radios. Back to you.
They are indeed. They were certainly built to last, and they always seem to do well for us on the old tube radio network. There is a reasonable facsimile thereof on the video of the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III 2-piece radio. As far as I know, there was never a matching, like the Raven was for the Eagle. They never had a matching tube companion radio for the Mark III. I'm thinking that it was probably a chore to combine all those things and put the 12 tubes in, and maybe they thought, it's just we're asking for trouble if we try and condense 3 feet of radio down into a little mobile package. So they did what they did best, and this is the product. This is the outcome of that some 40 years later. It's sounding good. Take a transmission.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to hear you real well, too. This big radio, I've got all 3 of the radios compared to this one. You can't beat the receive on the Mark III, I don't believe. It's super. It makes quite a difference with all the noise you got up here at night. It helps. Well, that's about all I got on the thing. These are very popular radios. I mean, everybody seems like they have one. It's on the line here, which I don't blame them. They're beautiful radios. By the way, Jerry, your 5 sounded great. Anyway, thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, I agree. It sounded most excellent. And in between your Raven for Radio 4 and your Mark III for Radio 6, you can't get any better than that on a pre-Christmas old tube radio net show. Was there a station wanting to check in, over? Okay, I had a kind of a noise there. While we're talking about the Mark V, I found the info that Mitch and Dave put out. Mitch and Dave, back in the days, they knew, long before you had to Google something, they probably knew their way around the Dewey Decimal System. Remember that when you actually had to go to the library, and you had to think, let's go to 562. That electronic stuff that makes noise. It's just the MC5 Operator's Manual. Who's got one? We might have one at oldtuberadio.com. It says, describes how the Q-Bird works, but ironically fails to explain its intended purpose. Maybe that's why the FCC said, no, when you make the 6, if you can't tell us why you're putting that in there, you might as well just take it out. The Q-Bird in the MC5 is actually a relaxation oscillator that uses 2 neon lamps. Are you listening, Harvey? because we're going to test you on this. You probably changed a few of these. A relaxation oscillator that uses 2 neon lamps, a couple of capacitors, and a resistor to create a relatively slowly alternating high tone or high-low tone that feeds into the audio amp and transmit oscillator. And that's what we heard when Jerry did the demonstration there. The microphone circuit is not disconnected, which we proved when the tone signal is closed, so the microphone audio can be mixed in. The origin of the term Q-Bird is a little murky, but believed to have been coined by Tom Nitel. I really enjoy, he was a ham, but he was the editor of S9 magazine, which is, if you go back and look at those magazines, and I think about, this is all before computers and things were hand-typed, and they had FCC database information that had to be pulled down. It wasn't you just, go online and get it. So a lot of work went into those S9 magazines. The Q-Bird used in proper context, but let's see, not explained anyway. The Q is a reference to the high voltage, 270 volt nature of the circuit design. Another Q-Bird reference appeared recently on the list of CB terms as an intermittent tone generator. Is noted that Q-Bird is called a Tweety bird. That's what I remember, and a turkey call. This turkey call is something else, but I do remember the Tweety bird. All right, a very long transmission here. Just want to say we are listening for your radio check-ins, and we are looking for radio number 7.
Number 7.
There seems to be lots of 7s. Hello, 7, over.
Yes. This is the Tram TR27 Echo, 23-channel transmit and receive.
A good selection. We are checking in fairly large radios tonight. Actually, most of the tube radios are fairly large. If you consider the Browning mobile radio with 12 tubes packed in, it's not very large at all compared to its brother there, the R27 S23, our first tram of the evening. I will bring up a photo of that. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll start with the ad first, and then we'll go over to what I think is that particular radio. Over to you.
There you go. Well, yeah, I've been kind of in and out of the radio room here, so, but I turned this one on and warmed it up to make sure that I get at least one tube radio on. I'll try to get another one before the night's over, but like I say, kind of running in and out. Anyway, yeah, big old green radio, 5x7 speaker, big S meter, and yeah, it's a pretty good receiver too. Oh, and an Electro Voice 638 microphone.
The EV638, giving the classic sound to the classic radio from, believe it's 1963, when this was in the final line of the Tram TR27 something series, the E model, before they went into, what was the next one after this? I think it was the Tram Titan, probably, for the big bucks bass radio, but they kept all the good bones. It was in this one. Good receiver, good transmitter, of course, and a lot of airspace for whatever, how many tubes, 10, 11, 12 tubes. These radios never did need any type of fan cooling because they weren't really packed in and doing bad things. 23-channel transmit and receive, and am I seeing correctly that of course, you're crystal controlled on the transmit, but your receiver is variable, over?
That is correct, a variable receive. So, yep, all 23 on the variable, which it's actually lined up quite nicely, just right in the middle of 11, so it's fairly close, because I know this was a little bit off, but it's semi-close.
It sounds fine. I don't, 27085 when the wideband AM receive. That's the thing. If I were to switch over to the Imperial, I think that might be only a 3 kilohertz wide receive. So I'm just wondering, I would have to run the audio of that, how everybody would sound. I would definitely know. I remember on that radio, I definitely knew when somebody was a little bit off frequency. Because the radio would say, no, you're not in my passband, but here at the 6KC wide, we're doing it. All right, there is, for those who might be interested in the microphonium, that Ed is running. There's the top piece. It's a bifurcated electric voice. Pretty cool microphone. So it makes a good addition. Okay, there's the full with the bass and everything. Does yours have this one's showing a round bass, and then it's got the neck, and I can't see if it's got a push-to-talk bar or a switch. What does your EV microphone have?
Yeah, it's a round bass, and the stick that goes up with the microphone attached to it is your push-to-talk, and it's got also a little rocker switch in the middle of that will lock the switch, and you can keep transmitting with those old buzzard type transmissions.
Yeah, it's perfect for your YAM old buzzard transmissions, and if somebody else wants to chime in, you can use it as a weapon, I think. Looks like it might weigh a few pounds. Radio number 7, SWL7 of the microphonium of his Tram TR27E. Sounding good on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, and thanks for cutting out a little bit of time in the schedule, in the holiday schedule for the net tonight. Thanks.
Oh, and thank you. Yeah, this is definitely not a microphone you want to drop on the foot. It would do some damage. All right, with that, I'm going to skip back and take a little bit of a listen here and kind of run in and out. So, Merry Christmas to all.
And to all, a good night, a good 20 over signal from the radio. Thanks for checking in, and OTR standing by. I just reading the comments. Warren said he was going to call up Bell CB and ask them if they had any mobile tube radios in stock. Yeah, I think the silence on the other end of the phone. You never know. Maybe there's like, yeah, you know, somebody brought one in on a trade and I don't know what to do with it. You just never know what you can find. It's the ones that always surprise me are the guys that check the thrift stores regularly and then come away with something exciting that's just sitting on the shelf for $25. eBay is another story. There's plenty from which to choose, but often you're taking your life into your own hands. The Old Tube Radio Network looking for radio number 8, but before we do that, let's see the Jingle Singers. The audio is a little rough from them tonight. I'm not sure what is going on, but I have a feeling somebody probably spilled some eggnog into the XLR connectors, but here we go anyway.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by phone is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
All right, I have remembered to refresh my page, so we will say hello to SWL13. Mike, I knew you would make it in there, so we'll get you officially checked in as number 13. Also, Richard, SWL78, checking in from near Everett. Yeah, from Everett, Washington tonight. Thanks for listening into the Old Tube Radio tonight. Haven't heard any conditions happening out that way. Also, our station listening in from near Riverview, Florida tonight. What is going on in Riverview, Florida? We're getting 28 and 30 degrees in our other stations, but I have a feeling that Riverview, I see they won't even fess up. I was trying a Google search here on weather. It looks like they're not even going to fess up to a temperature, probably because it would make everybody jealous. OTR standing by. And good night to 44. Yeah, these days, even though they're not longer, this is the shortest day. It seems like it's a long day. So go go get some rest, and the days are getting longer. So, so if you have trouble with this one, I don't know what to say. Anyway, good night, Ray, and Merry Christmas. We're on there. Good to hear you on the air tonight. I do have the Yuletide OTR tree in the background here tonight, and the string of lights had a special miniature string because it's a dinky little tree, and a big string doesn't work with it. They didn't fire up at all. So, and I didn't have a nice little spot to shine up on it. So there it is. It's there. I didn't want people to think that we were a bah humbug here.
Break OTR.
This is the break OTR frequency. Go ahead.
I broke it. Do I have to fix it?
You can fix it, or it's easy to fix. You just kind of insert one tube radio.
I got more than one tube, so I think there's 9 in this. Is there 9? Yeah, something like that. 9 or 11, I don't know. Subtract or add, I don't care. But anyway, Dennis, I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A, the 24-channel version of this in here, and we will run this here with a non-amplified stock microphone. Over.
Stock audio sounding good on the MC11A. Perfectly tuned. Not peaked and tweaked. It's been aligned. Let's use that word. Let's use the A word. Perfectly aligned. No peaking and tweaking necessary, because the crew at General Radio Telephone back in the day really knew how to make it work out of the box, and it's working quite well. I don't know if you heard its cousin checking in earlier this evening, the Super MC12, which in theory was supposed to be an updated, improved version of that. I don't know how they could possibly make it better, but they tried. Yours is sounding good. It's Radio 8. Give us another transmission.
Okay, well, can I check it back in 3 more to make it number 11?
Well, I suppose you could keep trying to check it in, but I think we're set up that once it's logged in once it gets logged in on the paper, that it won't allow us to log it in again.
I'm sorry you spilt that ink on that. You don't know which radio I did josh with you, Dennis. Okay. All right, well, I let me see. Yes, I'm going to try to check in one more anyway here.
All right, we're hanging out until 10 o'clock here on the net, and if you're in the vicinity of your radio room and you find something with a microphonium attached, that would be a good thing. Let's see, confirming your 9 tubes on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, even 2 transistors. It's got a 6BZ7, a 6CW4, 6U8A, 6B8, a 12AX7, the ECLL 800, which was sort of their magic wand to make those all sound so great, and others, and a host of others.
Does it have a BQ5, something like that, like the modulators? Does it have one of those in it?
Well, it has the 6 IF. The modulator output is the ECLL 800, the 6AL11. And the 12AX7A for the mic preamp. So it's got a host of it's got that 112 volt tube. But anyway, it's got everything it needs.
Good enough family, huh?
Yeah, they're all happy in there, I bet, staying warm.
Oh yeah, it's warm. It's been on for a little bit, so yeah. Oh yeah, hey man, I could put a piece of bread back there and toast it up, and I could make myself stuffing with it if it dried it out good enough, huh? All right, but Dennis, I'll let you go. I'm gonna get out of here and get another one warmed.
All right, and you just got an unsolicited comment, someone saying it sounds incredible, which it does, and I put on the S meter with the radio, so if anybody's watching, that is 5 over 9. That is not 40 over, what you're hearing. That's 5 over 9. That's not a bad signal, but still, you know, it's one of those things you think it's closer than it is. And, Chris, what would you say? We're about 3.5, 4 miles apart, probably?
I'd say roughly right. In that vicinity somewhere, yes.
And neither of us have ginormous, as Mike would say, ginormous antennas up in the air. So it's definitely the radio working out on this one. Sounding good. Thanks for Radio 8, the Super MC11A.
And I do thank you. And who was that to put the comment? Is that somebody over the air or from another part of the United States?
One of our SWLs listening in at oldtuberadio.net.
Thank you very much, whoever it were. I'm fire up another one here in a minute, get it going, well, it's already fired up. I'm just now trying to get it warmed up. You know, I could put it in the oven and get it warm, but nah, I'll do it this way.
Indeed. All right, I think I might have heard a breaking station, so let me stand by and say this is your Old Tube Radio Network. Or it was a super quick break. All right, the jingle singers say, let's give it a try again, and we'll give it a try again.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
I still think somebody spilled eggnog in one of the connectors, but they're not fessing up. Looking for radio number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9. Yeah, well, you did that quickly.
All right, well, Dennis, I want to try one more here then, and then I'm going to get back in here with Wanda. She's trying to decorate things.
Deck the halls. Indeed, it is the season here on the shortest day of the year. Go ahead with Radio 9.
Actually, the shortest day of the year?
I believe somewhere I read today that the 21st, which I believe it is, or some window in that 21st, 22nd, is the winter solstice, where it is the shortest day of the year and things get stretched out until we get into June and it's summer, and then they get shorter.
I've been hearing on the news it says the first day of winter is actually 21st. But I'm looking at my calendar, and it actually says the 22nd. So I think somebody screwed up on my calendar then, huh?
Well, you've got that 24-hour window thing going on, and they probably have an official timestamp somewhere. But I think it's pretty much feels like it could be winter around here. Tell me the radio on which you are transmitting over.
Okay, well, I am on my pretty blue one, my G PowerMate, the Gem Marine products. 23-channel tuber that glows in the dark. And we are running this here with the amplified D104 Lollipop over.
See if I can quickly pick up a shot of that radio, and there it is. So if I do some fancy clicking, and on the Mises and Mooses, there we are. The G. There's too many G's. The G PowerMate from Gem Marine products. I'll get it right here, and that is one of the infamous Panasonic chassis, I do believe. Over to you for transmission.
And you are right, it is one of the Panasonic ones like that. Yes, I got another one down here that I probably, I just warm that one up too. That way I get both Panasonics in there. Well, as far as, if I'm going to do that far, why don't I just warm this one up down there too? If I had more, I would. But, all right, Dennis, yes, is the pretty blue one, though.
Yeah, made by Panasonic. You can't go wrong with any of the series of those radios where basically the internal workings are the same, but the front panel will sport various items, whether it's range expands or PAs or CBs or S-meter functions or something like that. So this is a good way to do a representative display from all of the ones like that. So good deal. Radio number 9, Gem Marine Products. We'll call it that. I think you're good. Take a transmission and then grab some tinsel and be on your way.
Well, another one warming up, so. But yeah, one thing about it, but the microphones will not transfer from this radio to the other one, even though they look identical the same, just different colors, but the microphones are wired different. All right, upon that, I'm out of here and getting ready to get to another.
Okay, perfect. And as we found out last week that, yes, you do want to be careful on similar chassis microphonium wiring just in case they're doing some type of B+ or voltage on the pins that you may or may not know about. So always good to consult your local schematic or your local 11-meter radio engineer when it comes to microphonium items. The Old Tube Radio Network at 9:42 or 5:42 Universal Coordinated Time, and Radio 10 will be our next radio. Thanks, Chris.
How about one from the Radio Lounge?
Back safe and sound in the Radio Lounge, where it's probably maybe a bit warmer. I'm not sure, but I am ready. Let's make it Radio 10 and get into double digits that I didn't think was actually going to happen tonight.
Well, the first comment I can make about using this this particular Robin, which is a 123B, as in Bravo, is it's really nice to sit here in a chair and not be just mortally terrified that your antenna was going to cause chaos and mayhem down a pretty important street.
They probably have some measuring thing, saying, well, we want to have a minimum droopage of whatever we're hanging, for the lights and power deals. But I mean, that's when they first start. So after the winds and the rain and branches drooping and things like that, who knows where the altitude runs up to. You were probably safe to be concerned, but it appears that there was no mishaps.
No, but let me tell you something. I was hitting trees left and right. It was not even funny. I literally couldn't go 30 or 40 feet without a tree strike. But I don't need to worry about that right now. I don't have an IMAX 2000 kind of poking out of the sunroof in my wife's minivan. This antenna is stationary. As is this 123B. I've never used this on the road. Harvey, if you're listening, maybe someday we'll have to work on that power adapter for that one. But this one's always in the lounge.
It's a lounge singer. Does it have a little, what is it, brandy snifter? And make sure you put the $2 bill in after we do the transmission here tonight. You probably told me, and I forgot, where, back to the mobile radio, where on the vehicle is the mount, or is the mount for the whip?
Oh, God. It was a mag mount, so it was basically in the center of the roof. Like I said, 108-inch steel whip on it. The cord was just, run through the open sunroof, so yes, it was cold in there. And the power for the radio, I had some alligator clips that I just clipped directly to the battery and routed that cord through the open passenger window. So it was rather ghetto, but it worked, I guess.
Don't be ashamed. That is you've basically described the Radio Shack here at Net Control, the way it always is. All right, well, a 102-inch on the roof, man, on a mag mount, that's a lot of whipping and swaying on a mag mount. Number two, Kevin used to have his pickup truck And he said the best place to put your antennas on the roof. So he had a 102, and he used to do the same thing. We'd come down where I'm at here has a lot of the trees like that, and you could hear him coming a block away, pang, 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 as the 102-inch whip was hitting the branches off the cedar trees. Basically, the trees may not mind. What you have to be careful is if you go into the service station, the gas stations that have the fluorescent lights. I hear reports that you can start taking those out with that may not make you a favorite person. So I think you did well. The signal was incredible. It sounded, in fact, I'll look at the S meter. I think you may have been coming in about the same that you're working with now on the meter. Go ahead.
Okay, that's really interesting and quite shocking. The previous time that I tried to use that radio in town to check in, actually had it same radio, same cord, same everything, but I was in my convertible, and something really ugly was happening with the audio. I mean, I think he made some sort of a comment like it's just like a horrifically mismatched antenna. And I was kind of reluctant, and I'm not going to go into great detail about how and why I selected the particular antenna I used tonight. But I didn't change anything, and I guess it worked out great, or reasonably well, I should say. I did get a lot of ignition noise. There was a lot of RFI coming from the engine, so that'd be. I'd love to chat about that and find out how people are filtering all that out. I don't know if it was coming through the power for the radio or if it was like an antenna issue. But yeah, there's definitely some issues with the received audio.
Well, yeah, there's many ways where it comes through the antenna. It can come from different sources. The spark plugs, if you don't have resistor plugs. Typically, my problem used to be an electric fuel pump, because you didn't have to be moving, and then you would turn, let's see, when you turn the key on, the pump would start, and the engine wouldn't be on. You'd hear the noise come up. So it was the electric fuel pump starting. And there's a way to go into and wire up some toroids and filters on the fuel pump and other things. Also, if you're working off a cigarette lighter rather than straight from the battery, et cetera, et cetera. So there are many, many different ways to do. That's when you have to go to the K0B something, or the W8GI, whatever, where the guys are that know mobile radios, when they say, here's what you need to do, and you look at it and say, are you kidding me? You're bonding and strapping and grounding, and it's like, well, if you don't want this to happen, here's what you need to do. So I believe the radio you are running, which is the Robin T123B, which is another Panasonic chassis, but it's a 23-channel version. It's 11 tubes. We were talking about the earlier one with the Gem Marine products. And then Brown Dog Audio listening in and said he picked up a Colt Midnight Special. And that is one of the same, like he mentions, the similar chassis, whether it's a 23 or a 40 channel. These built from 1972 to 1976. That's the 23 channel versions of which you have 11 tubes, 12 AX7 in the audio, and you do have the range expand. Although the way you've got the other Robin, it actually has much louder audio than this. This is very mellow, but you're kind of a mellow guy when it comes to talking. But the other one, you can just lay back on that one, and it's just nice and loud. But I'm not dissing this one. It sounds perfect. I want to let people know there's an operator's manual and a schematic for the Robin T123B. It looks like it's available over at oldtuberradio.com. Radio number 10 sounding good. Over to you for another transmission.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me check it in. You made a delightful comment about like a brandy cup or something over here for tip in the radio lounge. No, I don't have one of those, but I do have a really cool, it's a smaller Christmas tree in the lounge here, but it's got some pretty awesome bubble lights. And so it looks like a great little tree you'd see maybe in a bar from the 1970s. You know, you got Ham's beer, little motion advertisement thing on the wall, and you know half the clientele are smoking. definitely these cool Bubble Lights. No, they're not, like a brandy cup for tips, but they still, these cool little Bubble Lights on the street kind of fit that vibe. So, anyways, thanks for letting me check it in. Ooh, now I'm preoccupied. I'm trying to think how I could mount one of these bubble tubes. Wait a minute. Oh, you're getting me to think. I think I had a broken Bubble Light one time, or a burned out one, so I took the tube out that had the juice in it. I think I just
the juice.
It was actually hot enough to make it bubble. I don't know. All right, I'm taking up too much time. 73.
They call it mellow yellow. Quite right.
Yeah, trying to make steampunk radio. No, the guy who could do that would be Phil. He could probably modify one of these things to have all sorts of little gears and moving parts. Bubbles is good. Who knew? Radio 10, the Robin T123B. This is not mellow yellow. This is the green radio. The mellow yellow is the next version, the 240D, the Panasonic chassis 40 channel. And maybe the Donovan tune would be apropos for that. The Old Tube Radio Network. Hello to, let's see, Germantown, Wisconsin, checking in again. The trio in Squamish up there. Hello, up there in the top row. Also, Jackson, Ohio, tuning in. And I think we got a couple stations would like this. Is zipping by here tonight. I thought it's gonna kind of go slow tonight because everybody's away. But we've been having some interesting things happening, so it's keeping it moving. So let me say we are listening for Radio 11.
37.
20.
And 20. Harvey, jump into the green room. They're having a good time, but listen up, because we'll be talking to you in just a moment. And Chris, I don't want you to get in trouble, so keep an eye out in the other room in case it is necessary that you need to get up on the ladder and do the top of the Christmas tree thing. But go ahead with your transmission.
Got that part a little bit ago. All right, well, I want to check in this one radio here. This is going to be the last one. Mine is messed up, so I want to check this. And can you guess which one it is?
I'm thinking it could be the Courier, but that's just me.
Oh, you was right. The Courier Royale, the 23 channel with all the knobs and the blinking Modge light, and the other light over there blinks on and off. Well, blink, blink, blink. It don't go off. It stays lit, but it's bright dim. You know how it goes. But this you got all the knobs in front, the knobs in the back, and we're running this here with the amplified D104 Lollipop. Over.
Always good. That one never seems to miss a beat. You know, our database is doing weird things at oldtuberadio.com. I wonder if Rob is updating stuff. He said my photos aren't coming up the way they should. But in the meantime, I will say, oh, look at that. A whole sorts of stuff came up. I might even find the Courier Royale on that. But while we're looking for the picture, give us another transmission.
And it seems to be working. I'm looking at the meters over here, and they're bouncing the right way. And the lights on the radio are blinking and tweaking. So I guess they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I guess, Dennis, I would almost guarantee it's working.
Oh, it's working. I've got a great picture now. Top of the line Courier, I think their last tube radio. This is out at the same time as the 23 and the 23 Plus, but was touted as their model for the CEO of the company. There's the front panel with every available option, 22 channels, an S meter, and probably a tuner, and I think some of them have mic gain in the back. Got the modulation light. How is that's got a new Vista front end too. How's the receive on that?
Receive is great.
Yeah, it should be. It was made to do that. All right, at Radio 11, at 9:53, the official time, Harvey is standing by, and I know what the Jingle Singers. We're going to have a little. Maybe he'll step up in the microphone with them. So the next time the Jingle Singers are in there, it might. Listen to see if we can hear Harvey's voice as well. Okay, thanks, Chris. A transmission, and then I decree you to go back and finish the decorating, so that not only that you won't get into trouble, but I don't want to be part of this either.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say one thing. When you say it's about to receive,
It's got all these knobs to it to make that receive good, you know. It's got the quieting, sensitivity, tone, tune, all this kind of stuff, squelch, you know. It just has everything whereby you can just set it just the way you like it. If you don't like it one way, just turn one dial, tap on that, take another dial, tap on that, do another dial, until you figure out which dial was the one that you want to get to whereby you want the best. You know, you go back and forth till you find the right spot, and you know what? I found the right spot. It works. I'm happy with it. So I can't say another word except it just keeps on working.
And that's why they used to say a long time ago, don't touch that dial. The Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
And the jingle singer sounded fine during the rehearsal tonight, but a little bit scratchy so far. All right, Harvey, if that was you, you sounded great. He is stepping through the door, up into the air chair, and here we go. Hello, 20.
Number 20. Oh, boy. Hey, proxy me in for next week and all the other numbers, because I'll attempt to be working there. Okay, the Browning Golden Beagle R68, T68, etc., etc. I blew up the transmit extender 2 weeks ago, and couldn't figure out what to do. Get another transformer, blah, blah, blah. So I called Mr. Bill. Said, hey, since you're in the business, might you have something that I could purchase, or let me know where to go to get it, and all this and that and the other. And he said, okay. And then he calls me back. He says, don't you have several big bad boy power supplies? And I go, yeah. And he says, why don't you disconnect a few wires and hook it up DC? And I go, duh. And which is something I should have thought of. And so after I cleaned it up a bit, etc., did a little rewiring, that's what I did.
Ain't technology great when you can do that? I didn't look at the S meter to see, because I can usually tell when the range boost is on. And with that radio, you definitely don't need it. But it sounds like that was the good kind of fix. And we actually have that documented. That happened on the air. If you go back 2 weeks and scroll through the audio archives and the video archives of the Tube Radio check-ins, we have it actual blowing up when it doesn't really blow up. It just kind of goes away.
Roger. This is with it on there. It's not quite all the way set. I have to set some in there, set it down a little bit, get a little bit better swing. But anyway, there we go. How about that? What a thing. Okay. Voltage stays steady, and the power supply has a voltmeter and variable voltage and an amp meter. And the amp meter is actually going backwards, showing it's pulling 7 amps, and when I talk it goes down a little bit. Anyway, as the audio makes it swing up, looking at the 2 meters, they swing with the same motion but the opposite direction. It's weird. Okay, turn it back to you, and I'll be done for a couple of weeks there. I'll be back after the New Year.
All right, I've got you logged in that you won't be logged in, and it's working. When you put it in, it gets loud, and the audio stays good, so it's not too far. It's not too far out. Let's see, what else I was going to make a comment? No, I don't think so. Somebody said George Knapp is on. I think, is he coast to coast? So used to, back when Art was on, Art was amazing. Art was the only guy that would start his show. He starts his network show with a commercial. Nobody does that. That's sort of like we do. We start with the jingle singers. And you'd be talking to him on ham radio. It'd be 9:55, and he'd go on at 10. Just cool as a cucumber. And says, okay, I got to go. And he'd go into the other part of the trailer, or wherever it was, that where his on-air stuff was, and play a commercial, and then he'd be on the air. Then he'd get off the air at 2, and like 5 minutes later, he'd be back on the ham radio again. I said, I don't know how that guy can do that. Just kind of super cool. All right, so we try to be super cool here, but it just doesn't work. That's why sometimes I dress the part, but we just can't do it. Thanks, Harvey. You are sounding good. Have a great holiday. Have a great Christmas, such that it is. And we will look forward to hearing you later. Got some questions for you. I may call you at some point and pick your brain. Oh, did you hear? I know what I was going to ask you. I'm rambling here at 10 o'clock. We were talking, and you don't have to make a big comment, but have you ever had the chance to go into the the MC5 and work on the little Q-tone signal thing does it actually have neon bulbs in there?
Yes, it does. It has one. Basically, it's off the audio circuit with the 6BQ5. It has, I think it has a resistor, but I'm not sure. Ceramic cap and a neon light. And basically, you change the resistance of the resistor, and you can get the tone to change, which is what I did to one of the radios that I have with the tone alert in it. I swapped a variable. I put a little pot on it, and I was able to get the Martians to be marching. So anyway, yeah, it's got one neon light.
Okay, and there's a name. Do I still have that queued up here? They have it's called a relaxation oscillator. Sounds like something you could put in your easy chair and fall asleep to.
Well, actually, that circuit can be stuck into a Browning or a Tram. It's in with the 6BQ5 there. And anyway, if you duplicate it in the right spot based on the MC5, you put it into all kinds of radios.
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned in that post that they had done or built a little box to add on to something else. What else? I think that's it. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for jumping out into the Radio Shack with us tonight. And I will say at 6:04, if there's a Radio 13 lurking about, we will take that. Otherwise, I'm counting and amounting. I want to say hello to Captain Keyboard. Hello, Robert, who is recuperating, which is a good thing, and looks like recuperating at home during the holidays, which is an even better thing. So hopefully we can provide some recuperation entertainment here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Good to have you aboard tonight. Clobber the microphone.
OTR. Channel 11. Fresno, California. Old Tube Radio.
Be modern and mellow and merry for your upcoming holiday extravaganzas, Christmas, or whatever it is that you might be doing. Thanks for sharing a little time with us tonight here on the 21st, on the longest day of the year, first day of winter. But nothing like a few tube radios that can't warm up the place. OTR standing by, and we're getting ready to wrap it out here. And then Mr. Announcer said,
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
This would be the current and final totals for the Old Tube Radio Network. So I get tangled up in the... How is the band doing? This is the... let me get rid of that. This strain relief on the PR40. These things last a couple of years and then they stretch out and the thing starts drooping. I sent off to Heil, and they actually threw in an extra one. I think they're not cheap, but the last time they gave me 2 for the price of 1. And I can't remember if this is number 2 or if this is the first one. So if this goes out, it should be kind of... What's not working well is the clip, their little clip back on their special cable here, but we won't worry about it. It seems like it's electronically working nicely, so don't mess with success. Unlike this, I was going to see if this is broken. We're doing the on-the-air... Yeah, it's broken for sure. See how the lights come up there? That is a bad, bad thing. So let me turn that off. That's the peak limiter that is not doing well tonight, but I don't think I need that. The Old Tube Radio Network, my name is Dennis, at 10 after 10 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll see how we did tonight. SWL-wise, it was not bad at all. A lot of people jumping in from decorating and stirring the eggnog to check in some radios and say hello to us tonight. We had 9 SWLs on page 1, 14 on page 2, 14 on page 3, and 14 on page 4, for a total of 51 check-ins. That way, a total of 12 radios, and the most heard manufacturer tonight was the General Radio Telephones, beautiful downtown Burbank, followed by the Brownings and the Robins with 2, but we like them all. One is good, 10 is good. Started off with the Robin T123, beaconing from the mobile, yes, mobile tube radio, on the 102-inch whip from the historic Christmas Tree Lane, becoming a Christmas tradition here on the Old Tube Radio Network, thanks to Mike's extra efforts, especially tonight. I don't know, maybe it wasn't as bad as trying to... Normally he's out with the walkie-talkie, which the antenna isn't as long, but you're still kind of holding it wheelie like a fishing pole, trying not to crash into anything. And typically, I think the tree would do more damage to the walkie-talkie antenna, where on the 102-inch whip, it might be an even contest. Great signal. I hope you get a chance to hear the replay on that, and amongst all the lights and merriment. And what a great way to start off. It was a perfect way to set up the net tonight. Radio number 2, General Radio Telephone Super MC12, the very rare and type unaccepted radio from General Radio Telephone. Thanks, Paul, for that one tonight. Jerry SWL25 on the Hallercrafter CB3A with 90% good transmissions. I don't know what happened to that first one, but all of them were good, so don't touch a thing. I think the tubes are still in their sockets where they should be. Paul was on the Raven, the mobile radio from Browning, 1965, basically the R27 S23 kind of crammed into one little box. They kept the big meter, though. That was kind of cool. So there's another rare find. Try and find that one. I don't even want to know what the eBay price would be on that. Radio number 5, Jerry on the General Radio Telephone MC5, checking out the Q-Bird. Radio 6, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Paul. Ping is good. Don't flip the switch. I like it. Tram TR27E Radio 7 from Mr. Ed. Radio number 8, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Chris on stock audio. Who would have thunk? Radio number 9 on his on his GEM Marine Products G PowerMate. From Chris, Radio 10, Mike in the radio lounge on the Robin T123B in the mellow mode. Always sounding good with that radio. The Courier Royale from Chris, Radio 11, and Radio 12, the Browning Golden Eagle R68. T68. Did I do it right? Browning Golden Eagle. Yeah. I won't get in trouble. There won't be a phone call saying, what did I check in? Sometimes it takes a while, but you'll learn how to do this net control thing. And I've had fun doing it. There is and has been many net controllers sitting in the air chair here in the last 35 years, and I'm sure there will be others as we go along. Appreciate the tube radio operators and their collections and their families that say, yeah, okay. you can go around the corner and play radio for a while. We appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great Christmas and a safe holiday, and we'll be back next week on the 28th. I think I'll be here. Somebody will be here. There will be some noise coming out of your 11-meter radio on 2705. Good night, everybody. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for the running of the Nixie tubes and all the digi-widgy stuff. And, of course, thanks to you for the old tube radio network. Good night, everybody. We will catch you next week.
Thank you, Dennis. We'll catch you next week, too.
Good night, Dennis. Ovaltine, you deserve it.
Yeah, I'm dressed for the... I was going to go in the other studio and see if I could roust up whatever they were having over there. So we'll see. If not, Ovaltine would be a next best choice. Hang on. I always refresh the pages late to see if there's any questions. And there is, and you may be able to answer, Harvey, if you have not run out of the radio room. Let's see. Voltage goes up, current goes down, voltage goes down, and current goes up. Okay. And if you're running external power supply, the voltage sense line might be too far from the positive power lug on the power supply. And just a question on the 6L6GC on the page to the left. Oh, yeah, okay. I think that's our glowing tube. Can you find one can you find one that doesn't say made in Russia? Asking for a friend. Okay, when I talk about Frodex and SearchLawrence.com, he's the one that came up with this when we were designing this, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, when we said, well, we can get and actually it was longer than that. It was like 9 years ago. And I said the same thing. It's like made in Russia. Back then, Russia wasn't such a big deal. This is like 2010, 2011. I mean, they've always been a big deal, but there wasn't like the big deal that they are now. So I don't know if that's what was a free, non-copyrighted 6L6GC or not. But we have sort of gone through this before, and I'm glad you're asking for a friend. I don't know. You would think that we would be able to come up with something, but we're not that we're promoting Russia tubes. I guess it could be even worse. We'd have like the Chinese tube or something on there, but that's the 6L6 we've got. Maybe we could do some Photoshop and put in something, but I'm glad you noticed that. All right, I think that's it. And if you want to comment, Harvey, and you're out there, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of wondered why the Russian one was left up there, but you could find a good Chinese one, but that might be as bad too. So anyway, I don't know. It'd be nice if you could find a 606 made by somebody else, but who knows? I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it'd be interesting if you could research it and find different ones there and see what you can come up with. But I know time is precious for you, especially this time of the year, so, we'll deal with it. Okay. Anyway, at least it doesn't say it's a Putin tube, so there you go. Okay, catch you in a couple of weeks.
All right, and the other, because we discussed it, the other problem is this was done so long ago, and it was kind of, hit and miss on putting all this together. And when I went back for some possible updates, he was saying, I don't even remember what we did, and I'm not sure that this is going to work anymore, and this may be outdated. So I think if we try, it's like an old radio, and it's working just perfectly. And so if we go up to the site and start dinking with stuff, the whole thing could blow up. And that could happen at any time. I mean, the over-the-air thing will always be here. And you can't mess that up. But all this digital stuff, the online and the audio and the video, is sort of hanging on a shoestring of what we did 8 or 9 years ago. And nobody seems to remember what we did and if it's going to work anymore. So if it's at some point... it's just not there. It's not because we don't want it to be. It's probably because it just broke and nobody knows how to fix it until we come up with something new. So that's why we're kind of tippy-toeing around all this stuff. It's like, it's working. It's working, so don't touch it. Unlike all this that I play with every week, and that's why it's always broken, because it's like, it's supposed to work. Let me turn a knob. All right, good night, everybody. Always have fun here on the Old Tube Radio Network, and we encourage you to get on the air night wherever you're at and do something similar. Good night. And the propagation is so lousy. I'm not even going to try. Am I going to try? Maybe I will. Maybe I will, just for a second. I would say I'm not even going to try and listen into anything else, but... let's see, where are we going to go? We changed the antenna. Let me put up the S meters. You don't see me breaking stuff. This is the full screen. All right, and we are on the sonar over to the table. We got the preamp on. I'm not even going to try 10-meter beacons because we didn't have any conditions tonight. Let's see what WWV is doing. See, Earlier today, it was way stronger than that. That's at 10 megahertz. That's just noise. You can barely hear the beacon. Here's 40 meters, just a bunch of noise. AM broadcast station at 7256. My antenna is lousy. 75 meters. Not even an AM carrier. The band is just awful. Should be because it's some guys at 3913, they're not there. How about 3840? See, I think it's just nobody's on. The band is bad, and nobody's on because they're doing better things. So I just wanted to prove that to myself that it just wasn't me. All right, back to 27 megs. And a Merry Christmas and a good night to all.